All right. Hello. Welcome to maybe episode 5. Hold on, I'm going to bring this a little closer to Natrinka, which is my podcast about knitting and crocheting and sort of an online journal / diary of how I use yarn in the year 2022. It is February 22nd. Nope, February 27th, 2022. And yeah, what else was I going to say? Oh, my name is Karen. I live in Maryland with my kids and my husband. We have 7 cats and 2 dogs. One of my dog, you can probably hear her walking around. I'm a teacher. I teach first grade, and I am a knitter. And I mean, I crochet, but I would not consider myself a crocheter because I really only know how to do granny squares. So anyway, I have a lot of FOs today and really almost no works in progress. The works in progress I have are shawls. One of them is the Night Shift shawl by Andrea Mowry. I'm using Noro yarn. I made a fair amount of progress on it, but it pretty much looks the same. And the other shawl I am working on is for my mom, and it is the Temperance shawl that I think is by Malabrigo. I'm using Malabrigo yarns. In the Night Shift shawl, I'm using Noro Ito, 2 different colors. And then for the Night Shift shawl, I am using lettuce, which is kind of like a yellowy green, Botticelli red, which is like a tomatoey orange, like almost like that, the color in that picture. And then Diana, which is a variegated, it's got from a pale orange through a brown, and it's got green in it. It's really beautiful, and it's playing really well with the other colors. So those are the 2 things that I'm actively working on, but I finished a lot of stuff this week. So that's mainly what I'm going to show you. I'm going to talk to you about some future cast-ons. My dog is now on the kitchen table, and she's going to try and eat syrup. Hold on a second. Elsa. Thank you. All right. Sorry about that. All right, so some of the projects that I finished this week. The first one, I guess in the last 2 weeks, right, is my husband's Musselburgh hat. I got very tired of knitting this, and I did not do any weighing, so I did not know how much further. I have about 12 grams of yarn left. This is the Haute Knit yarn in Summer Squash or Zucchini colorway. I knit the adult extra large because my gauge was not what the pattern said, so I wanted to make sure it would fit. I didn't follow the pattern exactly. I made it shorter than it needed to be, but it still fits really well. I haven't washed it yet. I don't typically block hats. I don't know why. I just don't. So, but that's finished, and I really like it. And actually, a friend of mine asked me if I would make them a hat, and so I said yes, of course, and I'll show you the yarn that I'm planning on using for that. So the next project, dun dun dun, is the baby blanket, and it's a little narrow, but I'm all right with it. And I really, really like the way that it happens, like it's got the yellow in the middle and then the colors on either side. I love this blanket. And this was I don't remember, Caron maybe, or Lionbrand. Maybe it was a Lionbrand, Baby Mandala, something in the Narnia colorway. I used 2 full cakes. Actually not full. I have a little bit left. That would probably be enough for 1 or maybe 2 baby hats. Not a lot. But yeah, I really like it. And this is the Garter chevron from the Knitting Expat. And I cannot remember if it was free or not. I did modify the pattern because it was written for worsted weight yarn and I used DK. So I added some repeats, but I really love this blanket and I really I think that the person who is getting it will also love it. So now I have 2 FOs that you guys have never seen. So that's exciting. When Dan and I went to Lancaster right before Christmas, like maybe the first weekend in December, I think it was, the weekend after Thanksgiving weekend, we went and just like a little getaway, and it was very lovely. I was having surgery the weekend after that, so he and I just went away. You know, we left Saturday morning and we came home Friday afternoon, and it was sort of a trip for me to pick out my Christmas present. So we went to maybe 3 yarn shops, and we went to bookstores, and we went to sort of like indoor markets, and you know what, we have gone to Columbus, Ohio, because that's where they do Pokemon tournaments a lot, and there is the market there, and that's sort of what it reminded me of, like lots of stalls and lots of different things, and they had food and candles and bags and just tons of stuff. So we walked around, but we went to 3 yarn shops or fiber shops, and I can remember the name of 2 of them, and one was called Flying Fibers and one was called Labadee Looms, and there was another one and I cannot remember the name of it, but it was a very cute little house, and it was just a nice place. But in Flying Fibers, I bought some Kramer yarns, which I had never worked with before, and I was making baby things, and as I've said before, I don't like to give baby presents that are 100% wool and that require special care and all that kind of stuff. So this Kramer yarn was, I think, 70% acrylic and 20% wool. I might have the tag still. I had 2 tags and I put one away. Okay, with the scrap. So Kramer yarns, perfection worsted, yes. 30% wool, 70% acrylic. And this is in the Shy Violet colorway. So first I'll show you the little thing. So this is a little hat, and it's called Simple Baby Hat. It's free. I go to it. It's not a download on Ravelry. When you click on the link in Ravelry, it takes you to another page. So I will link that below. But it's just a very sweet little hat with some very cute decreases. It took me about 4 hours. You know, I worked on it a little yesterday. I worked on it last night. I worked on it this morning. Super easy. You know, it's very darling. And I think I'm just gonna make a whole bunch of these, and then I can just give them as gifts. Like, I worry about not having things ready for people. And so if somebody is having a baby and I want to give them a little something, then something like that hat is a good gift. That hat and a couple of washcloths is a nice present. All right, and then the next thing, I love this so much. and I think I'm gonna make 8 million of them. So this is called, wait a second, because I had to weigh it. So this is called the Seamless Baby Kimono. And it's a little sweater, and it has just this really pretty, you know, edging. And then you can see it's got this really pretty detail on the edges. And then, dun, 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 I mean, oh, I tied it too tight. I love this. I think it's so cute. It's just a little sweater with a little tie. And it's very sweet. And I love the color, and it was so easy. It's such an easy sweater to make. I was making another one, which is the vertebrae, but you have to pick up edges, and I'm not like a tremendously huge fan of picking up edges. So this is just another sweater that I now know how to make, and it can be like a go-to baby pattern. It called for DK weight, and I used worsted. So I made the smallest size, but I think this is probably, I don't know what the gauge is, because I didn't check it, I didn't measure it, but I'd say it's probably closer to like the 3 to 6 month size. But the people that I am giving this to live in Massachusetts, so I think they'll be able to use it for a little while. It's very sweet. And actually, when I was making the sleeves, I noticed that this would also be very darling in a short sleeve. So that's something. And there, I will put notes on my Ravelry page for it. But I did modify, because I stopped decreasing the sleeves, because I don't know why you can see. Oh, yes, I do. These are not washed either, but I will wash them because they probably have a little bit of cat hair in them, and I don't think people want baby presents with cat hair. But anyway, I stopped decreasing. So because, I don't know, I thought that this looked like an okay arm size for a baby. I mean, there were supposed to be several more decreases, and I feel like it would be too like tight on their little chubby little arms. So I stopped decreasing because I don't want to make something and then it doesn't work. Also, I super hate ripping things out. Although I will tell you, in this hat, I did a poor job of knitting a stitch, and I only caught like one ply, and there were like 2 others, and so it made that like weird. All right, so my storage was full, so I have to blah 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 figure out how to make these things combine. So anyway, I'm almost done, but those are my finished objects. So like I said, I don't really have any whips, but I do have some projects that I'm going to be starting. And the first one is a pair of socks for a friend of Sarah's. And I don't know, I think this yarn is really cool. This is called Bad Day, and it is by the Lemonade Shop. And I will tell you, all right, so it is 137 yards per 100 grams, 75/25 superwash merino and nylon. This I love this color. I am interested, and this is a little whatchamahoozy bag that I got from Leading the Men Fiber Arts. I ordered it on their website. Yeah. So I'm probably going to start these today because I don't have an easy project for school. And as you know, I need something to knit while I am working or while kids are working. All right, so some other things I'm going to be working on. As I said, a friend of mine asked for a muscle burr hat, And I am going to be using this, and you can see the colors. They're really, really pretty. And this is Desert Vista Dye Works in the Viso color sock, yarn style, whatever, base. That's the word I'm looking for. Sock weight, approximately 462 yards. And it is a 75-25. And this is called the Potter series. And that's all I'm going to say about that. The thing about this is that there is a stripe that sort of corresponds to the color of each book, which is kind of interesting. Like the orange is Deathly Hallows, the green is Goblet of Fire. One of these blues is Order of the Phoenix. Purple maybe is the Half-Blood Prince. I don't remember. But anyway, there's 7 stripes, and that's what I'm going to do with this. Now, I, a long time ago, not a long time ago, maybe 2 years ago, made a blanket for a little one whose mama works with me, and he has a bigger sister. I wasn't knitting when his bigger sister was born, so I didn't make her anything. Now, this blanket I made him turns out to be his most favorite blanket in the whole wide world, and he drags it everywhere, and it gets super gross because he drags it everywhere. So she asked me if I could make her a little sort of lovey that he could carry around with him. So I said, of course, and I couldn't find the yarn that I made anymore. So I had a different kind, and I brought it into school, and I was like, do you think this would work? And she was like, yes, I think that'll be perfect. And I was like, great. And his little sister, his big sister, who's in pre-K, felt a little bit jealous that I had never made her anything. And so she wrote me a very lovely little note that says, will you please make me some socks? And I don't know, how do you say no when a 4-year-old asks you? So I have some yarn that I'm going to bring in to her so that she can choose what she would like. Now this is a color, oh, you know what? I never turn my light on because I have this lovely light coming in the window. That's all right. I have this lovely color that I dyed, and you can see, or maybe you can't, I mean, I can see it a little bit. It's very, very pink, and it's got these sort of splotches of orange in it. And this is, I was playing around with some dye and just having some fun. And so I'm going to show her this because apparently she likes very bright pink. I don't have a whole lot of very bright pink yarn. So as that goes up my nose, I will show her what I have. And then I have this, which was from ice dyeing. So this has got some purples and blues and pinks, and it's really pretty. And I'm going to ask her if this is something she can pick any of these, whichever ones she likes. And then I will start them. If anybody knows a pattern for little kids socks, I looked at the Rye Light pattern, which is Tin Can Knits, and it's free. I have no interest in making a pattern sock. And I don't think I want to make a sock with a heel because I feel like I feel like 72 Stitches, which is the Knit All the Yarn podcast, she made socks for her kids, but they were older. And so what I think she did was just make plain old grown-up socks with no heels so that they could grow. And this is a 4-year-old foot. So I am thinking about doing 48 stitches on fingering weight yarn and seeing if that is, I want them to be a little bit baggy because I'd like for her to be able to use them, but I don't want them to be so baggy that she can't wear them. So that's sort of the dilemma. So if anybody has any ideas, I would love to hear them. Okay, so the third color is from a chick that knits, and it's called Tammy. And the reason I am introducing this is because it has sparkles. So I don't know how she feels about yellow, but this is yellow and pink and sparkly. So tomorrow, when we sadly go back to school, I will show her these 3 colors and let her choose the color that she likes the best. I feel like it's probably going to be one of these 2, but I don't know. We'll see. This is Hawthorne from Knit Picks that I dyed, and I think this is Stroll. I think this is Stroll. So either way, either one she chooses will be good. So yeah, the other thing that I am kind of sort of but not really working on is a blanket for Sarah, and I'm literally just making a million granny squares. I did the Carnival of Color. I can't remember right now who put that out, but I did that for a while, and I love the yarn. I think it's a really cool and pretty idea. I'm like, just what the heck am I going to do with it? So what I am doing with it is making a bunch of granny squares, and I'm going to make Sarah a blanket. I am using this, which is maybe Gray Heather or something, Dove Heather from Knit Picks. And you're okay, Mama, you're okay. And I'm just going to join them. And I did join one, but I have to rip it out because I don't like the way I joined it. So the other one, well, it's in there. So, but you know, it's just gonna be strips that then I will sew together. And I think I'm doing 25 across. I want it to be slightly big for a queen size bed so that if she ever gets a king size, it's big enough for her bed. So that's what I'm working on this week. It was kind of a busy 2 weeks. I went last weekend, I visited New York. I went and saw my mom, and that was really good. I haven't seen her for like a year, so I can't do that again. I have to go more often than that. I got to see all of the little people, and I got them Christmas presents. And then I got to see my sister Elizabeth, and I saw 3 of her 5. And also my niece's husband was there too, and my brother-in-law and my sister. So that was really good. You know, I like living far away for certain reasons, but I also really miss my family. And the drive is kind of a bitch, to be honest with you. It's not terrible until you get to the Jersey Turnpike. And then once you get to the Jersey Turnpike, it's sort of kind of anxiety producing until you pull into somebody's driveway. Driving on Long Island is not fun. I mean, I can do it. I know how to do it. And I don't mind going over bridges. I do mind tunnels. I just said that the last time. I don't like tunnels, but I don't mind bridges. And I went over the George Washington Bridge and the Throg's Neck. And sometimes I go the southern route, which then takes me over the Goethals and the Verrazano, and then that takes you out onto the I can't remember. I'll put it on the screen. But the northern route takes you onto the Belt Parkway. That's where it takes you. And that is through Brooklyn and Queens and stuff. And it's really pretty because you're along the water, but it also, that road is either you are flying, or you are sitting for hours. There's almost never an in-between. And then you have to take 25A and the northern, which is the Northern State Parkway. And it was built in like 1950 or something like that. And it's super twisty turny, super full of roads or cars, and there's trees on the side, and it's very beautiful, but it is not meant to be driven on like faster than 45 or 50 miles an hour, and people are driving on it at like 70 and 80. And yeah, I don't love it because you come around turns and there's like stopped traffic, and there's no way, there are no like warnings. So I don't love going the southern route, although it makes sense now because like, well, anyway, so I went the northern route, and the northern route takes you over the George Washington, then you drive the Cross Bronx Expressway, which is a little bit scary because once again, people drive like maniacs on that road. Then takes you to the Throgs Neck, to the Cross Island Parkway, and then out to the Long Island Expressway. And the thing about the Long Island Expressway that I don't like is that every other road in the world, if you are at exit 79, you're also at mile marker 79. That is not the way the Long Island Expressway works. On the Long Island Expressway, you could have 12 miles between exits. So exit 30 and exit 31, there could be 12 miles between them. So you have absolutely no idea how long it's going to take you to get from exit 31 to exit 70. And it's super annoying. I'm just saying, New York, get your act together. Probably in more ways than one. What else? Oh, we starting tomorrow. Maryland has lifted their school mask mandate. So it is a choice. And I am a little bit, I'm going to say curious. How about that? I'm a little bit curious about how logistics are going to work. I have decided that as long as there are children in my classroom wearing a mask, I will also wear a mask because I think it's important to be a grown-up and show solidarity in that way, because there's going to be a lot of people and a lot of grown-ups in our school that are not going to wear masks, and that's fine. It is your choice. It is your choice. I will continue to wear my mask at school as long as there are kids wearing masks. I don't know. I am very curious to see how logistically all of this is going to work, because I don't think it's going to just be a matter of taking your mask off or not taking your mask off. I think there's going to be some interesting conversations to be had. I've already talked with my students about it, and they know what my plans are. I've already told them that if you are, that I am not in charge of this decision and they are not in charge of this decision. Their parents are in charge. So if their parents say they don't have to wear a mask, then they don't have to wear a mask. If their parents say they do have to wear a mask, then they do have to wear a mask. And I cannot override that decision. And I'm not going to, because I don't think I can keep track of 22 kids and who is supposed to be wearing what. And it'll be interesting tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be an interesting day. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, right? All right, so next time will be March. I will give you my yarn totals in and out in meters. You know what I wish I had done? I wish I had done it by grams, because I I don't know how to configure or figure in my fiber. I am still getting my Into the World monthly fiber club subscription. And I also am getting my Lolo Did It Outlander Club, but there are only 2 months left, March and April, and then it's done. But the Into the World is kind of forever. And I don't want to cancel it because I really like it. Even though, secret, don't tell anybody, I haven't actually spun any of the Into the World fiber from my fiber club yet. It's over a year. Because I hoard things, okay? I have realized today and yesterday when I was pulling things out to make things that I was like, ooh, like I have all of this stuff and I'm like, I don't want to use this yet. What am I waiting for? What am I waiting for? You know, the Bearded Pearl had a bag at one point that said, buying yarn, or yeah, purchasing yarn and using yarn are 2 different hobbies, or collecting yarn. And it's like so true. I have yarn that I just like to look at. And I think you have got to use this at some point. I will. When, I don't know. But I have to think about a way to get my fiber situated. I am very excited because I signed up for the Kickstarter for the Dreaming in Robots yarn counter, which counts your meters. So even if it's like not super accurate, it's more accurate than what I have now, which is nothing on half of my yarn. So on half of the hand spun that I have. So I'm going to, once that comes, and I'm kind of hoping it comes in March, which it might. Once that comes, I'm going to start using my hand spun a little bit more because I'll be able to figure out how many meters of it I've used. What else? Oh, Marilyn Sheepin, woo! I'm taking a class with a friend of mine and we're gonna learn how to spin yarn and ply yarn from Jillian Moreno. And I'm really excited. And my mom thought I was losing my mind because I was so excited about it. It was Sunday and I was at her house. And I was like, I just have to make sure I know how to do it. And I just have to make sure I can use PayPal. And she was like, you're very excited about this. But she was totally making fun of me, which is fine. I don't care. I don't care. Make fun of me. I'm really excited about it. So that's Friday. I took a personal day for that. And that is the Friday before the festival. I am going to buy a whole heck ton of yarn, I think. I don't know. I think Daedalus might be there. I was looking at the virtual vendors, and if Daedalus is there and they have wheels to buy, I might not buy a lot of yarn and I might just buy a wheel. I don't know. I don't need any more yarn. And this is the problem. The problem is I am not feeling like this insane urge to buy. And I think what I might wind up doing is buying, once they release the vendor list, just really going through what they have and who they have and looking at websites and thinking about what do I really want. Because I don't need a thing, not one. I don't need a centimeter of yarn to come into this house. So I am not thinking about what I need. I am thinking about what I want. And do I want to bring in more single skeins of sock yarn? Because I have like 300 single skeins of sock yarn. Do I want to buy sweater quantities, even though I have like 3 sweater quantities, 4 sweater quantities, 5 sweater quantities, I think. Anyway, something about that. So I have to think about what I want and how I'm going to use it. Like, I think I have to think that if I am buying random skeins, that there's a limit to how many I can buy. If I am buying stuff for a project, then I need to have stuff for a project. And actually just what occurred to me is I may start looking at kits, because I know at other fiber festivals, a lot of the vendors sell kits. So everything you need is in the kit. And I'm just thinking now that might be a good idea, because then I'm not just buying random skeins of yarn and then coming home and trying to fit it all together. But we'll see. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful 2 weeks. Hopefully I'll have socks, little kid socks and hats and things like that done the next time I see you. Yeah, I'm not going to comment on the political state of the world, because this is a knitting podcast, but do I comment anyway? No, I don't. I think that there are some stark contrasts between I wish the people of Ukraine who are fighting for their freedom and their lives and their way of life, I'm not a praying person, but I will send them every ounce of positive energy and hope and resilience and bravery and just, everything that I have. And if anybody knows of a good way to donate money, please let me know. I don't want to donate to something that is not going to help. And I don't know if now is the time to donate money, or if we wait until everything is kind of done and then the rebuilding begins. So if anybody has any ideas about that, I'd love to hear them. But it is something to see people fighting for freedom in a way that truly matters. And I will leave it there. All right, see ya.